Good afternoon, President.
Hello there. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
It's good to see you. I'm doing very well, actually. I was actually working in the back here, trying to get the leaves all vacuumed up. Of course, the windstorm. I just came back from Ottawa last night, and the wind was quite strong when I left, heading to Thursday. And so I could see the damage of crab apples everywhere in the yard like there's no tomorrow. I see the drunken wasps everywhere. I'm guaranteed they're drunk. I'm telling you, because they eat the apples and they're already fermented.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm telling you, they got to be drunk the way they're acting. So, anyways, but they die, right? This is the last part of the season. Of course, the leaves are telling us everything is changing. The birds are telling us everything's changing as they're embarking, getting ready for winter, and of course, fall to conclude its job. And that's why winds actually pick up quite strongly. But now they're a little bit too strong, but they usually pick up strong in the fall as nature's way of helping clean the leaves off the trees and preparing itself for the winter.
Right.
And but the winds are much stronger, of course, for climate change. We see it and we feel it. And I think people are questioning what's winter going to look like. You know, is it going to be cold? Is it going to be, too warm? And the winter going to come too late? And, there's a lot of concerns by so many today on climate change. And that's why one of the things I'm very proud of what we're doing is actually building a tree greenhouse, a massive green. I'm not talking a little tiny little shop. It's actually going to grow up to 8 million trees a year. And so 6 to 8 million is, I think, the number they're looking at. And so our plan is to grow 150, 160 million trees in 20 years. And it's going to, of course, employ people, create jobs. So Marcy and her team are working very, very hard on that file. And I kudos to Marcy and her team. She's doing an excellent job, of course, representing us and making things happen that normally in the old days would never happen. So, it's important that we talk about climate change that affects animals. It affects the wildlife in many contexts. Affects the birds, affects the water. There's so many things that I think our young people too are telling us they're concerned. They're starting to feel this issue, and our elders are very wise to tell us this was coming already. They saw it, they felt it. It seems by looking at nature. Nature was giving them all the hints, and you hear, of course, our minister here, Peter Fleming, give you updates on what's going on in harvesting, and there is a concern. There's a big concern right now, and Minister Fleming will actually be leading consultation. We plan to initiate that very soon, but there is a massive concern that the moose population is diminishing too rapidly, and that has not to do with just hunters. I want to make that very clear. It's not just about harvesting, because that typical reaction by others, they'll blame the First Nation, they'll blame the Métis that we're taking too much. So, and that's, I'm sure, what the Wildlife Federation and others will be doing. But that's not the cause of just harvesters. It's actually the cause of the wolf population, the nature, the tree clearing, and all of these things, ticks, the wood ticks that are causing great harm. So the environment is clearly affecting wildlife in a different way, and it's really causing concern. This year, of course, we have our partnership with the province. I keep on reminding people that the province doesn't give us the rights. These are rights we earned and were born into as a people. And so when the Manitoba Wildlife Federation chastises the province, saying you have no right to give them this right. Well, firstly, not giving us any right to province. This is our right, our jurisdiction, and our right to feed our families and to take care of ourselves. So I want to make very clear to all listeners out there, and especially as many First Nation and Métis listeners fully know their rights already, that these rights are inherited by our ancestors, so they're ours. And so no province gives us any right. We work with the province, and I think we all have to work with the province. I'm going to be sending a letter probably to MKO and SCO, advising them that we need a dialogue as soon as possible where we sit down at a table amongst governments and leaders and ask ourselves, what are we going to do towards the future? Are we going to take this seriously? I am taking it very seriously, and so is my ministers, that this has to be a topic of serious discussion. If the numbers are right, according to the province, for example, in the ducks and the porcupines, because not long ago it was over 3,000 moose in there. Now they're saying that potentially it's dropped to 1,400.
Wow.
And the healthy number you were looking at is over 4,000. So, but if that's the case, That's why we agreed with the province to lower our, because we usually would issue, at the time when they went down to 60, we'd issue 26 of our licenses, our tags to our harvesters. And now we're diminishing that, of course, lower, because these numbers are starting to worry us. And in the future, it might be another closure. But is the closure enough? And that's the problem that we need to talk about with the province. They think before the solution was you close the mountains. Well, all you did is move the harvesters from one location to another location, and they're still going to harvest. But if you move in and put more extra pressure on another area, then you're going to lower that population in that area.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be more thought out, and then we need to ourselves together. And we're fortunate as a people. I'll say that very proudly, that our elders guided us in the process of ensuring we establish the Métis laws of the hunt. It gives us seasons, it gives us limits, all of these things that our people said these are common practices that we always followed. And the problem is we never had it written down. So when we drafted our laws of the hunt and adopted by all of our people, that this is the rules that we all apply to, because this is not about us today, it's about the next generation tomorrow and the one after that. What are we going to have in 20 years if it continues to diminish the way it's diminishing right now? And that scares me. I'll probably be dead and gone. But the next leaders have got to be ready for this, for the next generation, that we need to protect this, or your Section 35 rights are meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
They have no value. So we need to protect it vigorously. We need to ensure. But it's not just about harvesting at the same time. There are people that pick berry. I'm harvesting big game I'm talking about. There are people that hunt ducks and geese and partridges, rabbits. And then there's others that hunt to blueberry picking, Seneca root digging, medicine digging. So when we go through harvesting, when you look at that, those individuals and those practices need to be protected too. So they got to be included in our discussions and our consultations. So I know the minister is all pumped up. Leah, of course, is on leave right now from the file. She will still be a co-minister, and PJ now can really classify himself as the acting minister and minister, because at the end of the day, he's got a big job ahead of him. I'm sure his dad, Jack Fleming, who was actually at one time a vice president himself, must be proud. If not, his family is proud no matter what, because he's got a big task ahead of him, Mr. Fleming. Come back to our cabinet, show us the plan. I'll probably be attending some of these functions with him, because this is something I take great passion for. We took a long time in this country, in this province in Western Canada, to really set the stage of our inherent right that exists in the prairies, and that we have to spend countless millions to prove ourselves, and to show that the law was on our side, and that the provinces were breaking the law, not us, by charging us and treating us like criminals. So that is something I have a passion for, as you know, and throughout my entire 27 years as the president. This is one of the things I tackled immediately upon my leadership, and this is something I'm proud of today as a legacy we leave behind, and prepare ourselves for the next round. So be prepared to harvesters. You'll get choses. There's 17,000 harvesters, and I'm sure the demand of, well, if here's that, they're going to be, holy man, they're killing everything. There's 17,000 of them. But only a few actually harvest big game of the group. The majority do it for principle, just to be proud of their heritage, proud of themselves and their family. So they apply for the harvester card just to have it. Others do it for berry picking, cutting maybe firewood, different things like that, some for medicine. So the different purposes people get the harvester card, and there's only a minimal amount in all society that really harvest. So same thing with First Nations, and not all of them hunt. There's only a few. But we got to practice, I think, what we preach ourselves. We got to be ready for it. What are we going to put? Are we going to put resources into this? So we'll reach out to the province and start our open discussion. Reach out to the First Nations and start our discussion. Do we come together? Do we have meetings together? Do we have consultation together? And if they say they don't want to do it with us, then so be it. And then we'll do it on our own with our people. But at the end of the day, if we decide to close particular areas in the province and First Nations don't, then it's going to cause some differentiation. It's going to be causing some grief and some hardship. That so we need to find a commonality that we figure out how we take it both seriously and at the same time respect our rights, respect our people's rights, but at the same time protect the future for next generation. That dialogue could be heated, I'm sure, and some strong discussions by individuals. But I just want to make something clear. Individuals don't have rights. The nation has rights. and the nation then gives those rights to individuals. So as a person, as a Métis citizen, you don't have a right of Red River to say, I have that right, I don't care what anybody else says. It's not how the law works. It doesn't work that way. So David Chartrand doesn't have rights as a single person. I have my rights because of the Métis of the Red River has those rights and derives that inherent rights back to me. So anyways, that's why it's going to be very, very important. And speaking of issues that are really changing the kind of direction of the future, we got a letter from Dakota, the Sioux people, stating that, first of all, of course, they filed a court case. We're watching very carefully. They filed a court case saying the forks is theirs, exclusively just theirs. So it's going to be quite interesting because the Cree goes back thousands of years here. And you go back to the history of the Cree, the Plains Cree, they were here thousands of years. So when you go back, the Ojibwe and the Anishinaabe came after from the Ontario that way. And then, of course, we come. And so the Sioux came in and out at different times. But they really were more of an American homeland. But again, they're now laying claim exclusive that they have all the rights of the forks, not the Plains Cree, not the Cree, not the Anishinaabe, not the Métis. They have exclusive rights. So that's interesting. So we were watching that. Then we got a letter again on Thursday now. I think on Thursday came in from their lawyer saying that they're now challenging the Métis on our rights to the province we created in our lands that we inherited and we fought and died for and protected First Nations at that time. Let's never forget that. And so we work with First Nations hand in hand. They're our relatives and our families. So we work together. But the Sioux are saying now that we have no right to be negotiating even with Manitoba Hydro. We have no right to negotiate with any private sector when it comes to the land, basically without their permission. So this is going to cause us to react. We will react, I assure you that. I'm sure the Crees and the Anishinaabe will also react about their inherent right that exists out in Treaty 1 territory. So that's going to be interesting. There's a big play by the Sioux now that they're taking a move and saying all of this land is really theirs, exclusively theirs. So I'm sure there's going to be some interesting days to come. And but as you know me, Naomi, and my people listening know me, I will go to war if I have to defend my people. I will defend them with every damn tool in my toolbox and every damn cent I have in the bank if I have to protect my people. And if they want to come to fight us on these issues that we don't have rights or we need their permission, then they have another thing coming. And we'll see them in the court, and we'll see them any place they want to decide to move on a legal matter to us. They want to go to the courts, we'll go. They want to civilly sue us, we'll sue them, and we'll sue them back. So, and I mean not sue the people, I mean Sioux, S-U-E, Sioux individuals. Anyway, but again, my accent, I got to watch. But that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate it's happening. It's interesting it's happening by the Sioux because I know they did come in and out from the United States into here, but they did not exclusively stay in the forest. I'll tell you that. So again, we'll see what happens, and we'll see how this thing lays out and plays out in a political and legal world. And so we'll watch that, and I assure you again to my people, your Federation government, as you heard my minister say, we'll have your back, and we will go to court and we'll battle anybody that ever dare threatens our rights or goes after our rights as a people. So, okay, with that, I'll move to a different matter. I just came back from Ottawa.
Yep.
Actually, we're looking at purchasing a building out in Ottawa right now for a business venture. We're looking at a partnership, of course, with others. I ain't going to name our partners at this point in time. But the building we're going to be buying is not going to be actually a cost to a federation and not federal government either, or any government. We're going to use our private sector relationship partnership. And if we do buy this building, it's going to be a guaranteed lease for 25 years, which will pay itself off. And the next leader one day will inherit an asset of value that they can use to further enhance the Métis needs. So it's a very good business decision, and so I was very pleased to see my team. Mark was out there, Lauren Pell, Shay was with me, and I had my whole policy team. And so we are looking at the building we're thinking of making a move on. And of course, it won't happen unless the private sector signs this 25-year lease with us. And so, but it looks like it's going to take place. And then there'll be another asset the Federation government owns and plans our own economic strength towards the future, because we've got to prepare ourselves, take care of ourselves. We don't know what the future is going to look like right now. In my cabinet, where we're talking, we're talking about preparing ourselves. That's why we're buying buildings, pharmacies. We bought Rapid City memorials for headstones. So we're buying all these assets, preparing to start making revenue so we can take care of our people. Our pharmacies are already giving free medicine. We're building houses, apartments, and other capital investments to charge and make rent revenues, so we can help take care of our people in different ways. So, because we don't know what the political spectrum is going to look like if there's a snap election or election take place. We know where we're sitting right now. What will the future look like if we have a new government? Because as far as I hear right now, and our ongoing pursuit to hear the position of the Conservative government of Canada, where do we fit in as a people? We've not heard nothing from them. We don't see a written policy that the Métis Red River will be part of the future, that they'll respect our taxes we pay by the billions of dollars, that they'll give us back our taxes, or make sure that we're part of the strategy. We're not hearing any of that. We know we fit in the Liberal, we fit in NDP. Even federally NDP, we don't have a clear plan or strategy from them. We do have a strong strategy from the Liberals. I'm not here to promote the Liberals right now, I'll tell you that. I'm telling you about policy, what's written, what's there, and what it shows, and what our benefits to our people, right? So I got to make sure that the government that's out there going to lead this country has to include the Métis of the Red River, and I'm sure the First Nations are doing the same thing. Where do we fit in? Show me your policies. Show me where you're going to spend our tax dollars you're collecting. How are they going to come back to us? So if they don't come back to us, then we have a big problem. So again, and then it affects jobs, affects families. People have houses they bought already. They're working for the government, and now they could potentially be in jeopardy if the government of Canada starts slashing and cutting everywhere. And then only the rich will gain, and the more affluent will gain, and the poor and the middle class will lose. So we got to watch that, and I'm paying close attention to that right now, and I'm pushing that agenda very strongly. So making sure we want to know the truth. We want to know where you fit in reconciliation. We want to know where do we fit in, and do we fit in at all? So those are important factors, and of course we're doing polls with our people, getting their opinions. What's the priorities? We know what some of their clear priorities: education, housing, jobs. Those are clear priorities. Land claim. Those are priorities. We know that. So when we do these things, harvesting is our priority. But when we look at it, in order to do these things, and I always remind my people at every assembly and every gathering, every regional meeting, that the government of Canada does not give us anything. Everything we got is through hard work, paying our taxes, and being a big contributor to the economy of this country and to the development of this country. So when they give return revenue back from Canada, that's our taxes coming back to us. And that's the part. They're not giving us nothing. We're not a charity. We're not putting our hand out for begging. We're saying, you collect taxes. The principle of collecting taxes in this country was that you'd use that revenue to make the life better for all of us. So the sad part about it is the Métis have been excluded for so long, decades after decades, and we've been able to break that barrier now. So it's making a big difference in people's seat, with over 1,000 houses being bought by our people, 1,600 houses have been repaired. We're building more houses for our seniors, are opening our second pharmacy, and then going to our third. And that's our money, it's our own revenue now in the pharmacies. So when you start looking at the future, we need to prepare. Where does the government stand when the Red River Métis are coming to the table saying, hey, what are you going to do with our taxes you're collecting from us? So these are handouts, and I know white people look at it as welfare to us. It's not welfare. These are our taxes, and damn right, our right to receive it back. So always remember that. I hate that when people think that Indigenous people are only there and we're getting our hands out to get money back to us. That's not the truth. And the truth is we pay taxes and we damn well want our share back. So again, there's procurement is a topic. I had a discussion also. It's a big serious issue. It's coming more in a spotlight. I know our Premier in Manitoba here is working on that, and he'll be making an announcement, I'm sure, soon on that issue, because procurement can change a lot and make a big difference in the economy of jobs and businesses for Métis people, for us, and First Nations have their own strategy. We have ours, but procurement is one that we got to pay close attention to, because it can create millions and millions of dollars in revenue to businesses and also create hundreds and hundreds of jobs. So we got to watch that very, very carefully and making sure that the language in these procurements are real. We see now that there's many stealing this opportunity, and they're non-Indigenous people, using Indigenous people as their partner, and they end up taking away the value of the rich opportunity that should be there for us to play catch-up. So that issue we can't take lightly, and I say it loud and clear to my cabinet and others. This is an important venue for us, and we're watching it very, very carefully and making very clear the procurement's got to be written in a way that it truly can be measured and validated that it's working and it's meant to do what it's doing. So again, don't worry on that. I got my eyes wrapped right on that issue. I'm watching that very carefully in our cabinet. So
right.
My time's going to run out short. I want to say, of course, marking Orange Shirt Day, and my granddaughter's always proud about this particular day, and I'll have my orange shirt on. Is it Monday? Monday, I think.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have my orange shirt already. I got it. Took it from the office. I have it ready to showcase the importance of it. Actually, I want to apologize from our government. The 60 Scoop was actually doing fundraising and selling the Orange Shirt Day, and some of the designs on there are lower end. If you ask me, you buy a shirt, Orange Shirt Day, you want to keep it a few years. You don't want things to be falling apart the first wash you make. So I was not happy with the context of the material. I made that very clear. But selling an Orange Shirt Day, I know 60 Scoop is struggling. They want to make sure things are there. We need to deal with that issue. And so, but from that perspective, that won't happen again where we're selling shirts at such a high cost. That was something I didn't know about until it was brought to my attention. And again, anything we make at the Federation, it's got to be top of the line or don't bother selling it to our people. So it's a brand. The brand must be protected. So again, Orange Shirt Day is a proud day for everyone. I know Mr. Kenai was at the Winnipeg football game.
Yeah, I saw him last night.
You saw him? Yeah. Did he go in? He was supposed to be in the middle. I was supposed to be there, but I was in Ottawa. I couldn't be there.
Yeah, he was there for the coin toss. Yep.
Right on. I was supposed to be there, and I thank the president and them and Negan for inviting me to be there. I'm supposed to be there, but I couldn't miss this opportunity on what I'm planning on the future for business and developing our economic strength. So I had to be in Ottawa to finish off a deal. But anyway, Richard, I'm sure did a good job on my behalf, on behalf of our cabinet and our government. So, and kudos to Blue Bombers for moving to the next level, and that's a very, very good sign that they might be Grey Cup again. So it might be coming home.
I hope so.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I hope so too. My fingers are crossed. Let's just hope it goes that way. I also want to thank young Darcy Ince for making sure I receive some of her beadwork. I think she's 10 years old.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
She made it for me, 10 or 12. But she did this beautiful beadwork on a little buckskin letter. And she wanted, personally, she signed it and saying, thank you for all, basically thanking you for my work and the work I do for the people. And it made me proud, a 12-year-old thinking that way. And just like in Ottawa Airport, this guy, I wish I remember, I apologize to him right now. I forgot to write down his name. And he came up to me and thanked me for all the work I do and the difference I'm making for our people. And then the lady on the plane come and said, thank you, David, for being who you are and what you do for us. And, just impressed, you know.
Awesome.
Like, people are recognizing that the Métis government is doing such great things and will continue to change people's lives.
And you're a rock star.
Pardon me?
And you're a rock star, that's why.
Thank you, my dear. Now, let me do some birthdays here before I get hell.
Oh, yeah, you got a lot of them today.
I know. Happy birthday to Will Goodon. Of course, he's dealing with the MNC issue right now.
Right.
It's all over the news, and MNC is trying to blame MMF and Saskatchewan for leaving them because they're protecting Ontario. And I think they should look in the mirror a little bit more and look at their own statements and words and figure out, okay, there is a reason the Heartland is leaving because of Ontario, and you're defending Ontario. So MNC apparently is trying to sell a different story that people are being selfish and leaving MNC, not thinking about others. So my job is to protect the River Métis, which I will, and my people have told me to protect them. So Will's been doing a good job on that RBF fighting with and keeping them honest to their words, and of course they're not, and he'll keep on pushing them for that. So Alfred Bucky Anderson, happy birthday, Saturday, September 28th, today, 72 years old. Actually, he's getting a new truck, and I know he's probably panicking. Yeah, we're getting a new one for him, but it's not going to be running too much. Winter's here, so but next year. But we're still working on a brand new one for him, and I want to make sure it's the right one, and we're working on that. So I know he's panicking. He's having staff text me, people.
Good afternoon, President.
Hello there. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
It's good to see you. I'm doing very well, actually. I was actually working in the back here, trying to get the leaves all vacuumed up. Of course, the windstorm. I just came back from Ottawa last night, and the wind was quite strong when I left Thursday. And so I could see the damage of crab apples everywhere in the yard, like there's no tomorrow. I see the drunken wasps everywhere. I'm guaranteed they're drunk. I'm telling you, because they eat the apples and they're already fermented.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm telling you, they got to be drunk the way they're acting. So, anyways, but they die, right? This is the last part of the season. Of course, the leaves are telling us everything is changing. The birds are telling us everything's changing as they're embarking, getting ready for winter, and of course, fall to conclude its job. And that's why winds actually pick up quite strongly. But now they're a little bit too strong, but they usually pick up strong in the fall as nature's way of helping clean the leaves off the trees and preparing itself for the winter.
Right.
And but the winds are much stronger, of course, for climate change. We see it and we feel it. And I think people are questioning what's winter going to look like. And, is it going to be cold? Is it going to be, too warm? And the winter going to come too late? And, there's a lot of concerns by so many today on climate change. And that's why one of the things I'm very proud of what we're doing is actually building a tree greenhouse, a massive green. I'm not talking a little tiny little shop. It's actually going to grow up to 8 million trees a year. And so 6 to 8 million is, I think, the number they're looking at. And so our plan is to grow 150, 160 million trees in 20 years. And it's going to, of course, employ people, create jobs. So Marcy and her team are working very, very hard on that file. And I kudos to Marcy and her team. And she's doing an excellent job, of course, representing us and making things happen that normally in the whole days would never happen. So, it's important that we talk about climate change that affects animals. It affects the wildlife in many contexts. Affects the birds, affects the water. There's so many things that I think our young people, too, are telling us they're concerned. They're starting to feel this issue, and our elders are very wise to tell us this was coming already. They saw it, they felt it. They've seen it by looking at nature. Nature was giving them all the hints, and you hear, of course, our minister here, Peter Fleming, give you updates on what's going on in harvesting, and there is a concern. There's a big concern right now, and Minister Fleming will actually be leading consultation. We plan to initiate that very soon. But there is a massive concern that the moose population is diminishing too rapidly, and that has not to do with just hunters. Right? I want to make that very clear. It's not just about harvesting, because that typical reaction by others will blame the First Nation, they'll blame the Métis that we're taking too much. So, and that's, I'm sure, what the Wildlife Federation and others will be doing. But that's not the cause of just harvesters. It's actually the cause of the wolf population, the nature, the tree clearing, and all of these things, ticks, the wood ticks that are causing great harm. So the environment is clearly affecting wildlife in a different way, and it's really causing concern. This year, of course, we have our partnership with the province. I keep on reminding people that province doesn't give us the rights. These are rights we earned and were born into as a people. And so when the Manitoba